just nothing serious, and it started to get serious. And I basically told him out of anger. I'm like, man, like, I basically said that he was going to hell without saying he was going to hell.
Mm.
And like, bruh, like that joint was just bad. Like I couldn't even imagine me saying that to somebody, but yet I did.
Well, welcome to King Legend Talks. We got the one and only Hulvey in the building. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. Had the family over today. Uh, been having a good time kicking it, man. I'm off the road for a couple months, so yeah, I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm excellent. So you about to get it in for a little vacation, huh?
Yeah, man. And then we got a baby on the way at the end of December. So
Congrats.
thanks, man. So that's got me off the road for just a little bit, and then yeah, man, just focused on being home, being present. So yeah,
Exciting, exciting. So you got a big journey ahead of you in the next couple of months with the
yeah,
baby on the way.
yeah, I do, man. Me and my wife are excited, bro. We're thankful.
Man, that's a blessing. So everyone, we got the one and only Christopher Holy in the building, okay? I mean Hovey in the building, I apologize. And he was born in 1999 from Brunswick, Georgia, you know.
Mhm.
Go ahead and let us know a little bit about yourself. Where you from? How was life when you was coming up?
Yeah, yeah, man. So grew up in Brunswick, Georgia. Was born in a small town called Jessup, Georgia, but moved to Brunswick when I was probably 1 or 2. So my whole life was really there. Um, you know, we grew up in a little trailer in a little kind of town side of Brunswick. And man, just I think I grew up a life of just happy life, but also one that I seen different challenges. I watched my parents move back and forth, trying to figure it out. Watch them, just face just different hardships within their jobs and like people issues that they would have to encounter. And I watched how God weaved all that and got us through all that. And
Right.
man, even financially, just wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? Growing up and just watching God's hand over our family, and He always provided for us, man. Um,
Right.
I grew up in church. I did the right things, but for me, and it wasn't until uh, true discipleship and even going on this mission trip that I went on when I was 16 or 17 to Memphis, Tennessee, that changed my life, man. Yeah, bro. So for me, it was like just a journey, bro. Just a journey
Absolutely.
of knowing God. So yeah,
Now we definitely gonna get into it, brother, because I don't want to skip over anything. Specifically speaking, with you growing up in church, accepting Jesus into your life at 4 years old, and
yep,
and just going through that journey of actually learning more about the faith and who you are, and just being able to grow in the faith. Some of the challenges that you went through, I really want to tap into because some people that grew up in church can definitely relate to this. Me personally, I grew up in church, so I know a little bit about what it's like to hear about Jesus and hear about God all your life. But then it comes a point where it has to become a personal relationship.
has
And
to.
so everybody goes through that process of where you get to this crossroad where you're kind of like, all right, I've been hearing about God all my life. I've been hearing about Jesus. Now I need to know for myself. Like, is this real? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, so you heard me mention earlier about the mission trip that I went on, bro. It was, I want to say, I don't want to get the date wrong. Probably 6 months before that, I was at this conference, and one of my now mentors in my life, but at the time we knew each other, but we were just growing. He man kind of showed me this idea concept of knowing God personally, and at this conference I was getting introduced to these really interesting concepts about his power and his love. I grew up in the in Baptist world, so I didn't really see like healings and all that. But at this
Right.
conference, I was seeing that. I was like, man, this is crazy. This is a Baptist conference, but just the dude I'm rolling around, the way he's moving is different.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we go on this mission trip to Memphis, Tennessee for a week, and bro, like on that trip, man, I saw things that I don't know if I'll ever even see again. Like, man, I mean, and I hope I do, but I saw a guy with like 6 infused vertebrae in his back healed right in front of me. Just, bro,
Wow.
watched him healed, watched,
So you witnessed miracles.
oh, bro, all week long, just consistent
Wow.
miracle. But beyond all of that, man, I was sitting in this bunk room. I was really dealing with some shame in my heart from stuff as a kid, and just dealing with it.
Hmm.
And man, I heard Jesus speak to me and said, "Follow me." And
Wow.
I broke down in tears, just weeping, because it was like in that moment, like it wasn't about head knowledge or my shame or anything. It was just me and him, and I
Right.
just down in that freedom of just knowing who he is and could feel him inside of me, not just talking about it, but I could, I really heard Jesus, like who he really is, and
Hmm.
I, you know that it's not just saying follow me that makes you a believer. It's you following him that actually
Yeah.
does. And so that kind of began the journey of me following him, not being perfect, but just seeking him. And through that, man, I have continued to come to realize I'm his son and that I need him. I need his grace. I need his sacrifice for me to set me free, and I need him. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
You
that's
know, I find that a lot of people, they're able to accept Jesus, but the issues come in when it's time to turn away from your sin.
mm,
That's where the real struggle is for a lot of people. There's
mm,
a lot of people that actually believe, yes, Jesus died on the cross and he did it for my sin. And I repent, I believe, that Jesus is God. And then there's other people that's like, yeah, but this part of the Bible, God working on me.
mm,
He gonna get to me. He understands my heart. He knows my heart.
right.
You went through a period in high school where you had this situation where it was kind of like being too harsh on your judgment, and the way that you kind of perceive people and the way that they were living at the time. Can you kind of go over that time in your life, especially dealing with your best friend? Because a lot of people going to hit that crossroad with that too.
Hmm. Yeah. So that period for me, I just remember a lot of friends in my life in my school. Uh, I just remember a lot of them feeling. You could just feel it. I didn't have to hear it from them. You could tell that they felt just pressed by me. They felt kind of like I was just too judgmental, and there'd be things I would say. Like there was one homeboy of mine, and in the documentary, the way they spliced it, they actually got it a little inaccurate, but it
Hmm.
was things where I wasn't trying to fight too hard. But
I got you.
what's crazy is like there's two separate stories here. There's one where one of my homeboys, good friend of mine, we're at the lunch table, we're kind of getting in an argument, and just we basically we were ranking each other, just nothing serious, and it got started to get serious. And I basically told him out of anger, I'm like, man, like I basically said that he was going to hell without saying he was going to hell.
Hmm.
And like, bruh, like that joint was just bad. Like I couldn't even imagine me saying that to somebody, but yet I did.
Right.
It hurt him, bro. Like for real, like really hurt him. And I had to call him a couple years later and be like, bro, I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? And we're really cool now. Like that's my boy. But it was
Right.
things, man. When you look back, you're like, dang. Another thing, one of my best friends at the time, man, bro. I found out that he was smoking weed. And I was like, dang, like you think the whole world's over. I think you might have been drinking. I think you might have
Right.
been and partying and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, when you're a young, zealous believer, you think the world's over. You're like, dang, bro, he's lost his soul. Like,
Right.
oh no. And I kind of just, I don't know. I think he could feel how I was feeling towards that, and like, bro, it just wasn't good. So, um, and
But
honestly,
in a way, that's kind of a loving thing to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you may feel that way about it now, looking back in hindsight, because you probably evaluating yourself kind of like I could have had a different approach,
yeah,
one that could have been something he could have understood better. But sometimes that's just the most loving thing you can do is to be straight up upfront with people and let them know, like
yeah,
God does not approve of that life. You know what I'm saying that you're living right now.
yeah,
Um, there's no room for lukewarmness. You know what I'm saying, and that's what I'm starting to see every single day. You know what I'm saying. There is no. I kind of got one foot in, kind of got one foot out. Because that does cause a lot of division. You know what I'm saying amongst the church. And speaking of division, what kind of things would you recommend we do? Specifically, let's talk music when it comes to unifying the culture of Christian hip hop.
yeah. Man, I first of all, let me just say thanks for studying up on some of these things. It makes it easy for me to kind of just bounce back on stuff because I can tell you tapped into the testimony, and that I appreciate that,
Not a problem.
and I'm honored to be here. But bro, so man, I think it really starts for me. Something I'm learning right now is to, as much as we have personal convictions, it's like never put your conviction, and hear me out here. I don't want to put my conviction over my love for that person. And I say that in the sense of I think love and conviction go hand in hand.
Mm,
That day if I love them, even though I'm convicted about something, I'm going to choose to try to see the best or try to like understand better about like
right.
what what it is they're doing or saying to help me now reevaluate my conviction. So if I really love them, I'm gonna really listen.
Mm,
Not just talk about them, but listen and see what it is they're doing, see how it is they're moving. And there might
right.
that challenge me and challenge my conviction. So I think that's a big thing that we can do in a space right now because I'm finding myself having to do it. Because man, I think we're just in a culture right now where it's very tit for tat, where you can mess around and start to feel like, oh man, he posted this on his story. I wasn't really feeling that, and I've been,
Right.
man, I was not feeling how you said that, man. I realized that, bro, it's real easy to do that until you also start to see, dang, man, but I do see fruit in his life, and I feel like
Hmm.
this dude's got so much love for me. This dude has love for me, and I can't even see it because I'm so concerned about what he put on his story. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Think it's realizing like let me just love this person first. That really helps, man. But
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
Um,
man.
what
So
comes with that love is that relationship, that bond, and people have to understand that you never know personally what somebody is going through in their life. You never know what challenges. You don't know what God is testing this person on right now.
and bro, some people too might say certain things just because they might have a little bit of a looser tongue. I don't even mean looser tongue in a sinful way. I'm saying like some people might just speak a different way than you, and it's like you hear
Right.
something, whoa, and it's like, oh wait, man, that's just how they move. They're not meaning nothing harmful by it. It's like, but I know for me, I can be easily offended. So I think it's realizing like, oh, let me drop that. Let me see.
Right.
Let me see what God's doing in them because He's working in them just as much as He is in me. You know,
Absolutely.
if not more. So yeah, man, I think that's a big thing is to drop the offenses and just love the person. And if you're really concerned, really convicted, okay, there
Right.
move there. You can have conversations. You can ask questions and go from there. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know,
The way you just explained that kind of reminds me of somebody that's coming at somebody for being homeless. You don't even know this person. You don't know the situation they ever been in. You look at them like, oh, you homeless, get a job. You know, there's plenty of jobs just hiring right now. You could be doing all this other stuff. And then a person says, I'm homeless. I would love to do that, but you mind if I spend a night at your house?
Mm,
No, I'm good. I'm not talking about me. We're talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to look at somebody else and their situation and nitpick. But when it comes to how can you apply what God told you to do in this situation
mm.
to inspire or help this person in their situation, most people aren't willing to do that. You know, and that really
Uh,
separates the gap.
bro, what's the verse, bro? Love covers a multitude of sins.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
like, even as I say that, that just rings true with me because I'm like, dang. Like,
Right.
it's something about cutting through whatever I don't like being homeless ain't a sin, but more so the idea of like resonating with people, man, it kind of starts to cut through all the junk and you kind of get directly to the source, directly to the heart. And like,
Right.
that's where people change, man. When people get hit to the core, when I got hit to the core, anytime I get hit to the core, that's when my actions truly change.
Hmm.
I think that's where like repentance really
Right.
for me is whenever it's like it's not just about whatever the surface issue is. It's like, oh, let's get down to the root. Like somebody's being there for you, and you're like, oh,
Right.
always felt rejected my whole life. That no wonder. And then God can deal with that because you realize, oh man, I struggle to feel spit out,
Hmm.
reject, not liked. Boom, God can deal with that, and now I can replace that with His truth. But when we're looking at people on a surface level, we're gonna be like, man, I don't like what you do, man.
Right.
And the fact that you're always cussing, bro, versus being like, what is it in him that's making him cuss?
Absolutely.
What then is it lodged in his heart that's making him do that? Or what scar, what wound? Like, there's different things, you know? So,
I
yeah,
think it's important for a lot of people to realize that it's a spiritual war that's going on.
yeah,
And we can't get caught up. Once you're a true believer and you have the Holy Spirit in you, you can't get caught up and look into things through a natural lens. If
no,
you're looking through things from a natural perspective, you already off balance. You know what I'm saying? You have to always look at things through the spiritual first because there's always a demonic influence that's out there that's putting somebody in this situation because they gave that demon authority over their life to do that. You know, and most people walk every single day needing deliverance and just don't even know who to go to for help. You
mm,
know, and it's so many people point a finger at them, but you're not really being a solution to the problem, or at least showing them the way, which is Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
we have to approach every situation from a spiritual lens first, and I think that's very important.
me too. And I think it helps us see the reality. We have more empathy, more compassion.
Right.
We come out better for it in the end. You know, we it's not just that person. It's like you start to realize, oh man, I got this going on with me. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, I want to give you a big compliment really quick, brother, because you see, I listen to a lot of Christian hip hop. That's all I listened to for the last 2 years, actually.
Mm,
I have not listened to any secular music for the past 2 years.
wow.
And I've been, when I say this, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening to God, first of all, okay? Because it's so easy with the amount of talent you have to get drawn into the temptation of joining the secular realm
Mm,
and just producing music that way. You know what I'm saying? But
mm,
the fact that you are listening to the voice of God and you follow his will, I just want to say thank you because of the impact that you're having on so many people like me, for an example.
mm,
When I was like, okay, I don't need to listen to this secular music anymore. I need something that's going to be good for my spirit, good for my character, that's going to also keep me focused on above on
mm.
my daily day to day life. I start searching for artists and I run across yours. And I'm like, your music. And I'm like, okay, I like this. Like, I can really rock with this. And what happens is, let me tell you the big impact your music has. Not just you, but just anybody that's doing it for God with their music. I get somebody in my car, they're not even saved. They're not even listening to God. You know what I'm saying? They get in the car, they hear the song, they're like, "Who is this?" See, that's the start. It's planting the seed.
Mm.
So the music that you develop, you know, is definitely inspired by the Holy Spirit because I could definitely tell when I listen to the song.
Thank you.
And and the seed, that's the important part. because when other people hear it, you're speaking in a language they can understand.
Yes.
And so many people have to recognize that, because there are a lot of religious people who like, nah, this is not the way we worship God. This is not how we're supposed to do things. You know, I kind of look at that like, who are you to tell God what He can accept?
Right.
You know,
Right.
because at the end of the day, God is showing us how to carry out His will. It's not your will. It's not anybody else's will. It's His will. He's
Mhm.
giving you instructions, and you're listening to Him, and you're just doing what He's asking you to do.
Man, thank you. Well, I'm honored, man. Thank you. Seriously,
Yeah,
it's him, bro. It's just him leading me because I don't deserve him, just like any of us. Like, but man, I think over time I'm learning to grasp that reality that he loves me, and I think
right.
that I can. That's why the music reaches, is because it's hitting your soul. Is because, bro, like he's rocking me, and so I think it's just translating. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I love the way that it's coming from your heart, and it's so genuine. When I'm listening to your songs, you know, I don't feel like you're just saying Jesus in it just because you feel like you're supposed to. I don't feel like when you talk about the Holy Spirit that you don't have a relationship with the Holy Spirit and He doesn't live in you. So it's coming through very authentic. And that's why it's very important, because when people tap into it, they're going to start to be like, okay, this is working for him. He got something that I don't have. There's a happiness there. There's a peace that's there. I'm curious. You know, that's what that seed does for other individuals. And what I've learned, that even in my life personally, when it comes to cussing, for an example, when I look back, only time I really cussed is when I was listening to that type of music that was putting that into me. So once I got rid of the secular music that was cussing every 3 words, guess what? My dialogue changed. You know, it wasn't cussing anymore.
Mm.
It's so foreign to me now, because I'm not putting that in my system every single day. But when I was putting it in my system every single day, it was just the next thing. That's just kind of how the culture was. You know what I'm
Right.
saying, for me. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. I just want to say I appreciate you for doing that. And it means a lot to so many people. So don't ever stop. Don't ever quit.
Man,
Even when you feel like I'm tired, like, man, I've been doing this. I've done 10 shows, and why God want me to do 2 more? I'm tired. Just
you,
keep going, bro.
it can feel like that sometimes, man. Like
Right,
saying, like there's definitely moments where I'm like, man, like God, you want me doing something else? Like what? You know what I mean? There's those moments, and
right,
I mean, I'm thankful he's keeping me in this to do it. I'm thankful, but it's like, yeah, bro, those can definitely be real feelings, and bro, sleeping on planes back and forth. Andy, to be honest, like the song "Death of Me" by Andy is like such a important song to me.
mm,
Like sleeping on planes, feeling like Bruce Wayne. He's talking about like
right,
having back pain. Um, yeah, he said black out that night on the stage. Uh, man, I need a back cave just to get away. And it's like
right,
you feel that. Like it's like, bro, I feel like people pulling me left and right, and I just want to breathe. I need God right now. And then in the moments where you're performing and you're not doing very well,
hmm,
like trying to get up there and authentically express God, but yet you're struggling. Like, bro, these are things that people
right. They
don't
don't really see that.
judge. You just get up, get the bag, be like, Jesus, yeah. And it's like, bro, I
Right,
be man authentic in that sense of like, bro, I need him just as anybody. And I think that's the message in the music. So I don't think it's wrong when I'm struggling to go up there and be like, man, like this is what he's done for me. Like I'm thankful
right.
to be here and share with you guys. This is him. But I do think it really hits different when you're getting that when you're filled up. So
Absolutely. So
yeah.
let's talk about balance, brother. So like, you got a very busy life. You got the
Mm.
wife, you got the baby that's on the way. You right now you finally getting to do some vacation, but let's talk about when you're doing the tour life. You know,
Whew.
how do you balance? Like, what is your day to day? Take me through a typical day when you got a show to do, a
You
performance to do. Go ahead.
you about to hear it from a 23-year-old dude figuring it out. This is not coming from a vet like a dude like Lecrae. I mean, I touring with these dudes. I watched them. They got you can tell they got their spiritual disciplines, this and that. I feel like with me, just the precursor. Like with me, I feel like every day I'm just figuring it out, and God's like just letting me learn. Like
Right.
you go, like I'm trying to think of a good example. I'll start here. Like sometimes I'll do a booking, right? So wake up. Say I wake up 4:30 in the morning. Got an Uber. Got an Uber an hour to the airport, or might have to get up earlier, maybe 3:30. So I Uber to the airport. Every time I go, I get my big water. So I get my water. Get my water. I get on the plane, bro. Knock out on the plane. Get to uh get to the show. I'm running on that barely any sleep. Uh, Sound check in the afternoon. Go back to the hotel. Go to sleep, or I go to sleep before sound check, so that they pick me up. Go do the
Hmm.
show. Get back that night. Wake back up at 4 a.m. to get on the next plane to go do the next show, and repeat.
Wow.
That can be the schedule sometimes. And bro, it is strenuous. So I think, and even like getting in the word, bro, I'm being honest, there is so many times where that mug is an afterthought because I'm over here focused on this and that.
Right.
All God wants is just my heart. And
Absolutely.
bro, the moments I do choose to spend with him on the road, I see the fruit of it. Like, bruh, filled with his peace, able to sleep better, able to function better.
Hmm.
Bro, like, man, the life of an artist is not easy. Like,
It's not. It's really not.
nah,
And people on the outside looking in, thinking all you guys do is stand up there on the stage and have people cheer you on. It's so much more
uh,
to it than that.
I'm bro, and two, like, not to mention the fact that we got other music to make. So it's like I'm over here having to think about the next process. Because here's the thing that nobody wants to talk about. We want to talk about the ministry. We want to talk about what God's doing. You know me, I'm all for that. But
Right.
be real. There's also the proponent of the business side where you're like, yo, this is what I do as a job. And people forget that. People,
Yeah.
you see people knocking people, and don't be wrong, we should not do this for the money, but you see people knocking people about money, but it's like, yo, what are you doing? You working a 9 to 5 job every day and you locked in.
Right.
So there's a business side proponent that I have to take sometimes where it's like you know, I'm focused on the album. Trying to figure out the next direction. Like you are constantly, the gears are turning,
Right.
bro. Like honestly, even though all that work is great, it be the random moments. Like I got my album concept like 3 weeks ago in the car just driving. Holy Spirit dropped it in me. I got goosebumps all over my body. Oh,
Okay.
that's the album. So it's like this business thing along with it can be stressful. You're taking calls, handling so many different people. Man, people are getting paid off of you. Like you got to make sure you're doing things correctly. You got taxes to think about. Like man, it is a lot of stuff, bro. That nobody talk about. All they talk about is post a reel every day and a TikTok. You can blow up. It's like, bro, what are you gonna do when that buzz come? How you gonna?
Right.
Because that schedule is real, bro.
Absolutely.
It's
Now,
it's day by day. Like it's not a it's not an 8 hour job. It's a 12 to 15 hour job per day. You
right.
know? So,
Now, how do you learn all of this stuff so fast with you just being 23 years old? Like, who's been
bro,
giving you game? Who's been giving you wisdom when it comes to this?
one of the biggest things that's given me wisdom is experience. Um, just watching it go wrong.
Right.
Watching something go wrong, bro. Be one of the best teachers. Like literally, you could go through a situation and be like, "Whoa, I just dropped the ball, man. I was late to session. That junk looked bad on me." That junk really teaches you because next time you're gonna be on time if you really care.
Right.
Where it's like, man, I've been losing sleep every day, man. I'm like, this isn't good for my health. You mess around, start going to sleep because experience. God,
Hmm.
those experiences to help convict you. So is that I think like the business side, like just those are practical things, but like the business, I mean, I think that I literally to this point, there's moments where I'm just numb to like some of the tensions because I
Right.
face so many. I think that naturally in this business, I think anybody can attest in life. the more stuff you start to go through, bro, you sometimes ain't even really stressed about it when something go down because you're like, bro, I've done experienced something like this 20 times already.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not to downgrade anything, but sometimes you just feel like, bro, here we go. Like, here you go again. It's just a part of it. So, I mean, learning to deal with anything from business stuff with figuring out, how to, if a producer, like figuring out something with a producer that might have went wrong. Because let's be real, mistakes happen. So you got to work those out. Um,
Right.
with a label, communication, like how am I going to communicate with my team? Something goes down, how, like, there's been plenty of times where like plenty of times where you see something, you don't handle it right, and then now you got to apologize. I've been there, like, and
Right.
I'm telling you, bro, this is the stuff that experience has taught me. Is just like, yeah, it's a time thing, man. I don't, Andy will mess with me sometimes because it's like Andy will give me wisdom. Andy will give me wisdom on something, and then I won't do it the way he said to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He tells me he remembers, like, man, I remember though, like when I was your age, like I would do the same thing. It's like you're not gonna learn until you just learn, like until you really just experience it. You just
Right.
learn. So, and yes, heed wisdom. If you're watching this, heed the wisdom people give you, but just know you're going to learn through experiences, and God is going to use them to mold you into a man of God, mold you into a woman of God. So, yeah, bro, as you can tell, it's a crazy experience. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the guy to be up here and say that it all just looks peaches and cream all the time.
Right.
The Christian industry is not that way, and people don't address that enough. It's not
Absolutely.
cream. It's the music industry, and people are still people. And so I'm learning that, man, just as much as anybody. Like, yeah.
Now, when it comes to all the experience that you're learning firsthand, with you being 23 years old, you still got a lot of learning to do, but
Yeah.
you're just embracing so much information at one time. You're still processing some things. Now, now take this with a grain of salt. What advice would you give to somebody who's dealing with a relationship that's an artist? Now, because this is the other side that a lot of people really don't talk about that much, right? So you're a new artist, you coming in, you get signed to a record label, and you still got a real life. You got whatever situation, you married at home, and you're going on tour. So, what is some of the things you do to keep the relationship healthy
Come on.
while you're on tour? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I love this. This is great. So, one of the things me and my wife did, man, we got on that phone, bro. Like, literally, we just chose we are going to get on the phone. It's not that like we had a schedule, but like we're going to be intentional. But also, we made sure to get her in them cities that I was at. Not every city, but she came to different shows because that is healthy. Make sure
Right,
you're still seeing people. It's like, bro, on tour, I know tour feels like the most important, but don't let it be. Like, make sure that hey, make sure your shorty's coming to at least 3 to 4 shows out of the 15. Like, that would be good. Like 3 to 4 would be way better than zero.
right.
And so be willing to put up that extra bag to make sure that your relationship is taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a big deal. That's a big deal. We can't even just act like that's not, because that's a big debate a lot of artists have too. Because they're like, well, if I have such and such with me, maybe I'm gonna get distracted. I might not perform my
nah,
best. And
bro,
then sometimes it's the opposite.
that's cat, bro. But it depends who you're with. I got a supportive wife, so for me, when she pulls up, I'm supported. I
Right.
don't feel the pressure, and if you're not supported, maybe that ain't the right one. And if you're already married, maybe it's just a tension. You know what I'm saying? That you
Yeah.
work through. And I do think too, there's different moments and times, and I don't like this word used a lot, but there's different seasons where it's like, you, man, like your spouse might be like, yo, I just need more attention right now because I'm going through something. It's like, all right, you got to choose to be like, I'm going to lock in on that. I'm going to make sure that she feels loved right now. And if hanging out with the guys on the bus takes a back seat, all right. And
Right.
I do think there's the other side where your spouse also understands, man, I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy this experience. So it's, you know what I'm saying? It's such a tension to be managed, bro. But I think that it does work itself out, and I think that just takes, bro. Honestly, it just takes time and experience. I'm 23. I don't know what I'm doing, but God does, and God's leading me. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, I think that's what it is, man. And then too, friendships. Friendships, I think, are pretty easy to keep up on a tour because or on the road, just because you could FaceTime your homeboy, like whatever. But marriage is and dating and marriage is different because you're man, you're so much closer. Y'all are one when you're married, and so that's your first priority, your first ministry.
Now I kind of got a two-tier type question about to ask you.
Okay.
So even if you're in the secular industry, you know, the secular world, part of success in a natural point of view, you may hit some crossroads where you have to leave some people behind. You know, you can't hang out with the same people you used to hang out with before, because maybe they don't have their situation together where they're focused and they're actually hindering you, keeping you in a certain position. But as a Christian, how does that situation work on from your perspective? You know, when it comes to
Ooh,
people that may not be walking in that life that they should be right now, do you bring them with you, or do you? I hate to say cut them off. What is kind of your angle when it comes to that?
this is the toughest question so far. Probably because I'm still. I feel like I'm probably still processing this, and I'm not honestly, bro. I don't think I'm going through this as you know what I mean. Because for me, like I think a lot of the relationships have naturally flaked off, and
Hmm.
been no intentional like I'm cutting you out of my life. It's just like
Right,
God, I'm chasing what you have for me, and then you're like, oh, he's
right,
he's not with me. He's not. It, I think that's actually maybe if I could share anything, I think that's what it is. Is like, yo, don't try to intentionally do the cutting off. Let God do it. Let God be the let God be the one to just to do what he's got to do. You don't got to have the science of like, oh, I need to cut him off, but I need to make sure he's still around, but we're not around each other as much. Bro, people be doing that stuff and putting it in their songs, and I'm like, bro, let's just let God. I think that'd be my advice right now.
right.
Let me just let God be the separator or the joiner. Where it's like, all right, bro, because bro, you might mess around and have a dude that don't even know God, and God's like, welcome. He's in your circle now. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know why. This dude's supposed to be around you. Show him what Show him Christ. You don't know, and
I
it's like,
love the way you put that. Absolutely.
bro, like people forget what Jesus' circle looked like. And I'm not trying to be that guy that's like, y'all already know, bro. Some people that there's a whole debate, but I'm just saying he was around other people besides just the devout Jews. If anything, he was calling out the devout Jews. Usually
Right,
who are hungry, people who are chasing God or don't know God but are like, bro, I'm hungry. Those are solid people to be around. And so yeah, man, I think just letting God do it, bro, is the key. I can't speak into all the specifics of
hmm
like who to keep around, who to cut because I'm not God and I haven't been in those. I've had to make tough decisions. I'm not gonna say I haven't had to make certain decisions, but I'm not saying I don't want to project those on everybody. You know what I mean?
right,
But that's a great question. Hardest question I've had in a good way, where it's like that is hard for some people, bro. I know some people you hear it in so many songs because people are going through it. Like,
right. I mean, because I look at it from a perspective where it's like, okay, the Bible even tells us if your hand tells you causes you to sin, cut it off.
yeah,
So now you talking about somebody else influencing you, whether it be through words or just, hey, I need you to come over here, rock with me, do this, that, and the third. Um, if that causes you to sin, that's how I look at it. And it's like being responsible. You know, at the end of the day, we have to see God first. And I love the way you reason I said I love the way you put that is because you took a spiritual perspective on it first. And it's so easy for people to look at it in the natural and be like, I gotta cut this person off. But when you're looking at it in the spiritual, you're gonna go to God and you're gonna pray about it. And you're gonna say, hey God, what is it that you want me to do in this situation?
he'll give you that divine wisdom, like literally, and then you can see counsel. He'll give them divine wisdom. Like, man, he has a way of showing you where to go, and sometimes, bro, let me say the hard thing. Sometimes we make, bro. Sometimes we make decisions, bro, and you start to wonder, was that God? Was that not God? And it's like, hey, it's over with, man. You already made the decision. Push forwards. Follow
Right.
God. He's going to, like, he is God. He's
Absolutely.
together, man. Just walk. Because at the end of the day, we don't got this thing figured out, bro. We don't. We got him, and he does. And so it's like we got the best, not just thing. We have the best one at our disposal, and that's the one who made us. And I think if we put it back in his hands, man, it just won't be that difficult. Don't be wrong, bro. If your crew is just wilding, bro, trying to make, like, if you in a crew and they attempting murder every day, unless
Right.
God telling you stay in this, you got to get your tail out of there.
Absolutely. I
Unless,
agree.
look, man, I know you, like, literally, like, yo, be there, stay. They need you, like, literally,
Hmm.
get out of there.
But at the core, it's about seeking God first and praying about it,
Yeah,
and then let Him guide your footsteps in whatever way He tells you to go.
don't get me wrong. In Psalms 1, there's a lot in the truth about it, though. Like, you don't want
Right.
to, when it starts getting around mockers and this and that. There's certain things, bro, you don't want to tamper with,
Right.
and unless the Holy Spirit's like, yo, I want you here right now, though. I do want you to tap in for a second. You know,
Hmm.
I'm not saying he doesn't do that, but what's coming to my mind too is that reminder of the word, making sure we're in the word. Which, shoot, I'm guilty of it just as anybody, of not being in it like I should. But
Right.
like the word, and being like, oh, that's okay.
It's
My
that fellowship.
this right now, oh man, maybe I am lacking what you need from me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Maybe show me where to go. Y'all hear these dogs?
I hear Him.
Hold up.
I got two more questions for you. I'm gonna let you go, brother.
Here you go. I'm gonna.
Um. Okay. I appreciate y'all for tapping in to King Legend Talks. By
This
the
has
way.
been great.
Yeah, brother. So this is a question I want to ask because a lot of people on the outside looking in, I always try to look at things from the perspective of someone who has not grown up in church, has not heard the gospel, that look at the gospel like it's a joke because of the way it's represented on television and mainstream media, entertainment business. When you have somebody that looks at you and say, "Man, being a Christian is boring. Like y'all can't do nothing." And the reason I'm bringing this up because back when you were in high school, you went through a point of your life where you was like, "I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't do the sex." So I'm having a difficult moment trying to fit in or be around other people that's currently doing that.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, what would you say to that person with the wisdom you gained over the years now?
Oh, what I want to say is not what I'm gonna say. It's not that it's bad as that. I just don't think it's smart or wise. But I'll
Right.
say, just follow his voice in the moment. I know it feels hard. You know what I'm saying? I know it feels hard, and you feel like, um, I gotta fit in. I gotta be like, man. Maybe I should just try to do what they're doing. I promise you, just wait till you see what 5 years down the road looks like for you.
Right.
Following his voice. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, yeah.
And what do you do for fun for that person that doesn't know how does a Christian have fun? What does a Christian do for fun? This is a question I actually get a lot.
You
Like,
know what?
okay, I'm saved now, but okay, what do you guys do for fun?
Well, here's what I will say. Here's what I'm thankful for. And I'm not saying I was fully following God all these years, but this is a perspective. I grew up in a Christian household my whole life. And this isn't me bragging. This is me giving a whole other perspective. I've never drank. I've never smoked. And here's the funny part about it. Because I never knew those things as my reality, being bored was not correlated to those things. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's deep. That's
Yeah,
deep.
yeah, bro. So
Yeah.
what's your new reality going to be? You don't want to be bored. You need a new reality. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. It's like you think back to the old days. Like, man, how did they survive without a TV? It's like because they didn't have it. They don't even know what that is.
Right.
It's like it's a new reality, bro. You got to choose to realize, like, oh, there is so much more out there. I got a thrill, man, from playing ball with my brothers outside, bro. We would
Hmm.
go king of the court and run that mode for hours, and it was a thrill.
Right.
real out of that, literally, like a whole like.
So in
I
other words,
I got a high from that. I enjoyed that. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that was my reality. I didn't
So,
know it was reality.
so in other words, when you enter this lifestyle, you got to renew your mind. You got to deprogram everything that you thought was really fun. Because in honesty, a lot of the things that people think is fun is actually killing them, and it's just all an illusion, really.
Yeah, I'm saying it's all flesh, like bro, like people really. I think we're in the age now where people are embarrassed to like admit when something touches their heart. It's like you. Sometimes things that get to the heart are fun. Let's
Hmm.
like The Chosen. That's my favorite TV show. That I have a very fun time watching that show.
Right.
Whereas other people might see it as boring. For me, it's like, nah, this feeds my spirit. I enjoy this.
Hmm.
You know, yeah. Yeah, man, this is a great question. I really think it's like, what's your new reality gonna be? That's you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And so, as far as the music go, what we working on right now? What
Yeah,
kind of release dates we looking at? Can we talk
yeah.
about it?
So, man, let me let y'all in. So, and by the way, there's nothing like an interview. You talk about the life, and then you dive into the music. So, man, I'm gonna be honest. I got a lot in the vault. Um, I mean, I just got back from Philly, working with Wit, working with 42 North, just making some crazy stuff. It came out great, and just working on that. But so I got a 3-pack in January. I'm giving y'all the exclusive scoop, but I got a 3-pack coming in January. Trying to get that prepared. It's called Perry Lane Pack. Getting that.
Okay.
Just something to warm up for the year. One of the records on there, people have been asking for a lot. I'm starting to see more requests. It's called More of You. Um, People keep asking for it. Well, it's gonna be on there. Trying to get that ready, and then have multiple singles just chilling in the vault. Gonna roll those out. Continue the singles. I'm just staying consistent. And then the major thing that God's doing to me is an album that right now I'm just spiritually just letting God soak in me before I even like really make too much for it. But that'll
Right.
be that'll be the big thing. And then I'm planning a uh,
Okay.
headline tour to go with the album. And
You got to come to VA. You got to have somewhere on that tour where Virginia is on there because I'll be there for
come on,
sure.
sir, come on, bro.
Definitely.
Man, you know I think it's gonna touch a lot of people, and it's very, very, very spiritually focused. And I don't know. I'm curious to see what it looks like in this culture to put something out in that sense, but
Hmm.
I don't know details because it's so dense. I gotta save it for when it's time. But um,
Absolutely. Hey,
I'm
look, we appreciate the sneak preview, man. We definitely do. Any
yeah,
words of encouragement you want to leave with the people before we go?
yeah, man. Um, I'm just trying to search in my heart as you asked that for like the right things to say. I'd say anybody in this chat that's carrying shame or guilt, you're not a slave to that. Jesus literally has defeated that. So if you feel that right now, like when you get off of here, you can be encouraged that he doesn't even see it anymore. The moment you choose to confess it to him and you realize I'm not a slave to this. Um, yeah, and I think that I just want y'all to know, like, man, he understands, but also he does set us free. And I'm even for me, I'm learning to walk that process of letting him free me from my anxieties and my worries. So yeah, and he lays us down in green pastures, and he loves.
Absolutely.
So hey, thank you, man. This has been an honor. He loves you guys.
Man, well, look, I really do appreciate you for coming through.
Of course.
God bless you, your family, and the baby that's coming on the way. Do we have a name yet?
Uh, yes, I can't say it yet, but yeah,
Okay, okay. We can't say the name yet, but look, we appreciate you again.
y'all gonna see though. Y'all gonna see.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you, and thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate you.
This was amazing, man. Thank you.
How could you be a king and a legend, boy? That's a big one, huh?
It ain't enough to just be a king.
And you got the lion in the background, boy. You's a dangerous guy, man.
You are put through the fire. The only thing that kept me going was I knew it was going to happen. I believed it was going to happen.
So I used to print out that list, and I would put my name at the top. I would white out the person on the top, and I'd put my name. And I would print out that list, and I'd keep it in my pocket for the next 4 months. Until one day, the email that I got had my name at the top.